have two more people here who will make up for it, more than make up for it. It was important to me that this journey of Save Soil is not just something that was experienced by just the people who had the fortune of traveling with Sadhguru. Because when he announced the journey and when he said that he was going to do this motorcycle ride, I don't think any of us really understood the scale at which he was planning the impact. So it was only as the journey, and like he said, 13, 14 days later, like cicadas, we all slowly opened our eyes. But it's just that as much as he talked about it, we had never imagined something at this scale. We had also not really understood, as much as we've been part of the foundation, as much as transformation happens from person to person. We meet them on a daily basis when they come for the programs or they visit the ashram. We had not really understood how to look at individuals as individuals, and that you can convince each individual to make a change in their lives or make a choice in their lives that will have impact not just for the people around them, but for many generations to follow. So, having been part of the journey, meeting people from all walks of life, all different kinds of social situations and backgrounds, and their passion for this, their involvement with these events, the enthusiasm with which they kind of took it on and made it their own movement, I thought was something that needed to be captured. It was something that, and after the Save Soil journey, anybody that I met, the only conversation would be about, when this happened, and then we were in this place, and then that akka said this, and then, somebody spoke to somebody who told somebody else, and their mother came for the event, and they spoke to some business contact who spoke to somebody else, and so it was such like a network of memories, and every time we met people, this is what we constantly talked about. Every time I met somebody, even if it was the same people, they had newer and newer stories to share. So it became almost like it almost became almost like a school nostalgia, like when you go back and you meet your school friends and you still talk about, in 6th standard this person did this and in 7th standard that person did that. It was like a much more amped up version of that because it was a few thousand people who shared this memory. So we interviewed close to 100 people, and you'll see how, can I have the book please? So we interviewed close to 100 people, and then we had to go back and start. Culling certain interviews and certain sharings because there was just too many, and you can see that it's already quite a fat book. And then we had to go back and cut back on a lot of people and their sharing. In fact, I think even Ramanna and Shilpaka, so many people participated in the movement outside of the actual journey. People who spoke to their family, people who spoke in their schools. We had children who, convinced their classmates to write letters to their local minister. And then we had school teachers who got their entire school to write letters to the Prime Minister, not just in India, but across the world in various countries. And when those ministers received not 1 or 2 or 100, but a few thousand letters from school children, and individuals speaking to just the people in their society, like people would get their building society together, and when they had a meeting, they would talk about Save Soil. It became something that everybody felt belonged to them. And I think that's a very unique way in which Sadhguru includes people into whatever he would, whatever he thinks is needs action. It's not like I have a plan and I'm going to do it. It's very much about how each individual person makes it a part of their own life and how they are able to convince one person, 2 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, depending on the level of influence that they have. So this book is a series of sharings. It's about 86 people. Finally, we kind of had to pull some people out because it just became too big. So we have about 86 different perspectives on how the journey started and where we went and what all we had to do. And I think even watching this video, it brings back such intense memories of what that journey was like. So the book is written also from different people's perspective. It must be very clear that it says compiled by Radhe Jaggi, not written by Radhe Jaggi, because we had a group of about 5, 6 authors who sat together and interviewed everybody. But many people's writings is in their own words. So we interviewed them, we transcribed their experiences, and then we wrote it in their own words. So you get completely different perspectives, you get completely different language, you get different levels of enthusiasm, different levels of humor, different levels of some slightly painful memories also. I think it's been a labor of love. It's taken us about 2.5 years to put the book together. First, it was about getting everybody to share, and many people were like, oh, it happened 2 years ago, how do we start? But the minute you start talking to them, they can't stop. It just their memories and their sharing of all the events, what they witnessed, how people stepped up, different kinds of people stepped up and did such really incredible things. Like for example, and I don't know if you all have heard this already, but for example, when Sadhguru was in Jordan in Wadi Rum, the clutch plate of the motorcycle had completely worn out. And in the middle of a desert, where do you go to replace a clutch plate? But just talking to people along the way, there was a nomadic family who lived in a tent. They saw Kannan waiting outside for someone to come and pick up the motorcycle. So that man, welcomed him inside the tent. What are you doing here in the middle of the night? He's talking about Save Soil. We're here, Sadhguru's here. This is what we want to do. Government policy has to change. This is how it can impact the future. Your children won't be able to eat, and you must also talk about it. He said, come inside, meet my wife. He made tea at 3 o'clock in the morning and gave it to him. Then from Kuwait and from Bahrain, we were calling people to see if they can get the clutch plate, and they brought it. The owner of the showroom wakes up his mechanic at 4:30 in the morning and says, 5:30, you have to be there, you have to fix it and get it back. Somehow by 10 o'clock, 10:30, we have the motorcycle back so that the journey can continue. None of these people are people who have heard of Sadhguru before. None of these people are people who have been involved with Isha before. It is purely the message and a little bit of the madness behind the message, in which they're also moved that they feel that whatever little bit we can do to support this, we must do. One of the days in Austria, the drone, they wanted to get a long shot of Sadhguru on the motorcycle with all the mountains in the background. And so they flew the drone really far. It lost connection with the remote and it crashed into the side of the mountain. We had only 2 drones. We really needed that drone back. So somebody's brother, somebody, she treks in the mountain. She said, I will get you the drone. So for about a day and a half, she just hiked up the mountain looking approximately where we lost the drone. She searched for it, she found it, and she shipped it to the next place. Just out of her own volition, willing to, go to this kind of extreme to make sure that the journey continues. So there are many, many sharings like this. It was also incredible to watch the relentless commitment of Sadhguru. I think when we came to Andhra Pradesh, Shailajaka had organized a lot of press interviews that had happened. And what we did was we set up interview setups in 2 different rooms. And he had about 8 to 12 interviews that day. So he would go into this room and he would talk about Save Soil, he would talk about the message, he would talk about why it was really needed and what it was. Then he would go to the next room and he would, the same message with the same involvement and the same enthusiasm, he would talk. The journalist would ask the same question because for them it's a new channel, it's a new magazine that they are writing for. They have not been in the previous interview. So he talks with the same with the same intensity and enthusiasm, while the other room is being set up for the new camera and the new thing. So like this 10 to 12 interviews, he just swapped rooms. We went here, spoke to this person, okay, this is done, okay, next room, speak to that person, next room. All of us as volunteers, all the journalists, everybody, the hotel staff are asking, would you like tea, would you like water, would you like this? But he doesn't get a minute because they have only that much time and then he has to move to the next place. So how he connects with each individual, no matter who they are, where they are from, talking about the soil policy, talking about the need for this change to happen in a way that they will understand, whoever that person is in front of them, impressing upon them the importance of this in a way that is relevant for them. So if it's a younger person, a younger person; if it's an older person, giving examples that are suitable for them; if it was a school child, giving examples to them, and all the while being on the journey. It was really incredible to be a part of it. It still to this day I cannot believe that it was something that has happened, even though I was there physically to see it. And this is something that I felt everybody must experience. You must experience the madness that we experienced, the panic of not having the hall ready and Sadhguru's 5 minutes away and the audience is waiting outside and we've not opened the doors yet because we've not been able to set up the chair, or the panic of not able to get the venue because some one officer is refusing to allow us, and then all of us sitting there talking to him, telling him, you know, this is the thing, this is why it's important, this is what we're trying to talk about, convincing him so that he becomes so involved in the movement that he has no choice but to give us the space. And it was not just large venues, it was also just like in a public park. If there were 20 people, he would stop and he would speak to them. If it was an event with a few thousand people, like finally by the time we got to Dubai, we had, I think, almost 10 to 12,000 people in that auditorium. And unfortunately, the leader of Abu Dhabi had passed away in just a few days before that. So the tone of the event, everything, because the whole country was in mourning, it was important to recognize that. And so all the officials were involved in that period of mourning. So then our event was delayed by almost an hour and a half or 2 hours. But 10,000 people just sat in the hall for 2 hours. There's no entertainment, nothing, because everybody's in mourning, so there's no music playing, there's nobody standing on stage keeping these people's attention. But 10,000 people just sat waiting for 2 hours until the time was appropriate. And then finally, I think you saw Sheikh Nahyan saying, my brother Sadhguru. So, you know, until he was able to finish whatever he had to do and come, and then Sadhguru was there on stage. Actually, the book opens with the chaos of the Dubai event, because for those of us who are dealing with media and dealing with PR, we just, you know, we had our heads turned around. And then it starts from London. So if you go through the book, you kind of travel along with us on the journey. You go through all the ups and downs. Hopefully you experience also the freezing cold that Sadhguru experienced and the crazy heat of the desert that he experienced. But it is spoken in the voice of volunteers. It is how Ma Gambhiri managed the logistics of it. How do you transport all these people who want to volunteer? And then individual volunteers in local places, how they spoke in schools and colleges and got everybody enthusiastic so they wanted to come for the event. Convincing, you know, musicians and actors to lend their voice to this movement, because if they do it, the impact it has is so much more. So these are not, we're all just a bunch of idiots who really don't know how, we don't have any professional training in anything, but just moved by one man's intensity, one man's passion for this, more than that, one man's compassion for everybody around him. We did as much as we could to support that journey, and this book is a series of sharings of all the people who participated. Actually, not all the people, as many people as we could include in the book, all of their sharings. What is incredible is that once the Save Soil movement was over, from then so many people have been inspired and have gone on to do incredible things. There was a woman, Natalie, from France, who cycled from Paris to India, and she made it for Mahashivratri at that time. Sahil is another boy who cycled from the north of India all the way to Coimbatore. I don't know this person's name, but there is somebody in Andhra Pradesh, there's a very young boy in Andhra Pradesh who walked barefoot for a certain number of kilometers to raise awareness. And then people like Ramanna, Shilpak are singing songs and talking to people about it, because the kind of following that they have, the people that they can influence and impact being that much more, and also being touched and feeling the need to express that creatively and having other people be moved by their music so that they are also able to be a part of this. Um, it was like reliving that experience every time we went back to the editing room and we read all these people's sharings. It's still, when I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes because people made it happen. Sadhguru is the inspiration, and he is a lone man who, no matter what he puts his mind to, he will achieve. But people who did not understand that they had the capacity for change, they were able to step up and really give their lives to this. You must read it from their perspective. You must understand what it takes for like a random school teacher to step up and do this, or for like a housewife to say, I'm going to go on social media and talk about save soil. There were many people who said, Sadhguru, I don't have any followers, only my school friends, 50 people are following me on Instagram. But those 50 people are important to influence, and so they also talking on their little channel saying, Sadhguru spoke about this and this is what it means when I feed, when I was eating as a young woman, what I ate, the quality of food that I ate versus what I'm able to feed my children, the quality of food that they are eating, it has changed so much. The taste has changed. My grandmother knew this and I'm not able to pass it on to my children. So it moved people on various levels. Yeah, so you must read the book. that's that's me mostly it. I think if you would like to share the impact that the journey had on you and how it inspired you to talk to people.
Can I ask you one question, Radhe? Is there a format in which you compiled it? Because I see there are some boxes in the book. Can you tell as to how you compiled the book together?
So it was important to me that the book be read by not just people who are avid readers. There are many people I know who say, oh, I don't read books. So the book is for you also. It's been curated in such a way that if you flip to a random page, you can just read that person's sharing in that event at that moment what they felt. So it's not, if you can read the book from the beginning to the end, then you will travel on the whole journey with us. But if you don't have the time, or if you don't have the inclination to read the whole book, you can just open a random page and get one person's perspective, one person's story, one incident that they were so impacted by. And you can go through it over a period of time. It's full of incredible photographs. I think maybe photographs that people have not seen. And also we have a few factoid boxes there. So if you don't know anything about the Save Soil movement, if you don't know what the dire situation of the soil is right now, there's enough information there that you can read up about it and be a little bit more informed. Everything has been taken from published papers. The UN has quoted many of these facts, and many of it is research that we have done. We have a little bit of information also about soil policy and what our policy recommendations are. But mostly it's about the journey and how people like you and me stepped up and tried to do something, whatever little way we could do it.
Namaskaram to everyone. When I watched the AV today, again, it took me back to 2022 and it was all nostalgic, and I was tearing sitting up there because the intensity with which we all felt about soil still continues, and this was only just a reminder and took us back there. I'll try to speak in Telugu as much as I can, but I might keep going back to English. సో ఫస్ట్ సద్గురు ఫ్యాక్ట్స్ చెప్పినప్పుడు తను చెప్పింది ఏంటంటే ఇంకొక 40-60 years తర్వాత అగ్రికల్చర్ హార్వెస్ట్ ఆగిపోతుంది ఎట్ దిస్ రేట్ ఇఫ్ యూర్ నాట్ ఈవెన్ గివింగ్ ఫోకస్ టు సాయిల్ అని. అప్పటి వరకు మనం గ్లోబల్ వార్మింగ్ గురించి మాట్లాడాము, డిఫారెస్టేషన్ గురించి చాలామందికి తెలుసు, యానిమల్ ఎక్స్టింక్షన్ గురించి తెలుసు, బట్ సాయిల్ అనేది కంప్లీట్లీ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద లైక్ సిలబస్లో ఉన్నట్టు ఇట్ వాజ్ ఇన్విజిబుల్. సో ఎవరికి అది అర్థం కాలేదు. అండ్ తను చెప్పింది ఏంటంటే మనమందరం ఒక టికింగ్ టైం బాంబ్ పైన కూర్చొని వీఆర్ వెయిటింగ్ ఫర్ అ డిజాస్టర్ టు అన్ఫోల్డ్. అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ సో ఇంటెన్స్. అంటే ఆ డిజాస్టర్ ఎంత పెద్దదంటే మళ్ళీ దాని పైన మనం వర్క్ చేసి రివర్స్ చేయలేనంత డిజాస్టర్. సో అది ఇప్పటివరకు ఎవరు మాట్లాడలేదు. అండ్ ఆ ఫిగర్స్ ఫ్యాక్ట్స్ నాకు విన్నప్పుడు ఇట్ వాస్ క్వైట్ షాకింగ్ బికాజ్ ఫుడ్ స్కేర్సిటీ కనుక వరల్డ్లో వస్తే కనుక లైక్ 8 ఆల్మోస్ట్ 7+ బిలియన్ పీపుల్కి ఒకవేళ ఫుడ్ స్కేర్సిటీ వస్తే సద్గురు చెప్పింది ఏంటంటే సివిల్గా బిహేవ్ చేయలేము మనం. హ్యుమానిటీ అనేది చనిపోతుంది. వీ విల్ బికమ్ లైక్ విల్ గో ఇన్ టు సర్వైవల్ మోడ్. Riots might occur and we might even not think of killing each other. Suddenly, recently, few days back, LPG gas taggindi anagane, there was a panic. And fuel also, people were filling their, petrol cars, diesel, they were paying more and just stocking up. So just imagine, okka 2-3 days LPG gas ledu, fuel idanagane, so much panic happened. Just imagine if there is food scarcity. So that hit me really hard. But this moment is not just about facts and numbers. It is about the spirit behind the moment and the cause. And it might have started like one man's journey, but by the end of it, it became people's journey. రాధే షేర్డ్ సో మెనీ స్టోరీస్. ఎంతో మంది గురించి చెప్పింది తను, ఎలా వీళ్ళందరూ టైంకి వచ్చి ఇన్ దేర్ ఓన్ వే హౌ దే హెల్ప్డ్ ద మూమెంట్ ఆర్ ద జర్నీ. నాది ఒక చిన్న డ్రాప్ ఇన్ ద ఓషన్, ఇన్ ద మిలియన్ డ్రాప్స్. కానీ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐ డిడ్ వాజ్ జస్ట్ స్మాల్ డ్రాప్ ఇన్ ద ఓషన్, బట్ స్టిల్ ఐల్ షేర్ వాట్ ఐ ఫెల్ట్ అండ్ హౌ ఐ ఫెల్ట్ ఫర్ ద కాజ్. సో ఫస్ట్ I started talking to people. ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా, ఎవరితోని కలిసినా నేను సేవ్ సాయిల్ మూమెంట్ గురించి మాట్లాడడం, ఆ నంబర్స్ చెప్పడం, ఫ్యాక్ట్స్ చెప్పడం, వాళ్ళకు ఒకలాంటి అవగాహన తేవడం. మా ఐ రన్ అ స్కూల్. ఆ స్కూల్లో టీచర్స్తోని మాట్లాడి, పిల్లల వాళ్ళ పేరెంట్స్తో మాట్లాడడం, ఎవ్రీ సోషల్ మీడియా పోస్ట్ పైన #సేవ్ సాయిల్ పెట్టడం. దాని తర్వాత మై ఐ హ్యావ్ ఫ్యూ సెలబ్రిటీ ఫ్రెండ్స్, ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సర్స్. సో వాళ్ళందరికీ దే వర్ క్లూలెస్, లైక్ హౌ ఐ వాజ్ క్లూలెస్ ఇన్ ద బిగినింగ్. దే వర్ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ క్లూలెస్. వాళ్ళందరికీ చెప్పడం, వాళ్ళ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ తీసుకోవడం. అండ్ సద్గురు హైదరాబాద్కి వచ్చేసరికి మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్ సమాంతా ఆల్సో గాట్ అవేర్నెస్ అబౌట్ హౌ బిగ్ దిస్ whole movement and how important it is. So she agreed to have a conversation with Sadhguru when he was here in Hyderabad, by the time he reached Hyderabad, and that also had a huge impact. ఇవన్నీ చేస్తున్నా ఇంకా ఏదో చేయాలి, ఇంకా ఏం చేయగలను అనే తపన. సో సద్గురు ఇండియాకి వచ్చే వరకు లోపల అనుకున్నాను, నా లోపల నేను అనుకున్నా ఒక పాట పాడాలి అని. పాట ఎందుకంటే నంబర్స్ ఒక ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ని మనకి ఇవ్వగలదు, కానీ పాట పీపుల్ని టచ్ చేయగలదు. ఇట్ కెన్ రీచ్ పీపుల్స్ హార్ట్. మ్యూజిక్ కెన్ మూవ్ అండ్ కెన్ ఒక స్పందన కలిగించగలదు. సో అది మైండ్లో ఉంచుకొని ఒక మంచి పాట రాయించడం జరిగింది. అండ్ ఆ పాటలో కొన్ని లిరిక్స్ ఇప్పటికీ విన్నా నాకు కళ్ళల్లో నీళ్ళు వస్తాయి. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అబౌట్ బ్లేమింగ్ ఈచ్ అదర్. ఇట్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ వాట్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ టు మదర్ ఎర్త్ విదౌట్ బీయింగ్ అవేర్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. తెలియకుండా ఎన్నో మనం హాని చేస్తున్నాం మన ప్లానెట్కి, మన అమ్మకి, మదర్ ఎర్త్ ఐ వుడ్ రాదర్ కాల్. సో దాట్ ఆల్సో హ్యాడ్ అ హ్యూజ్ ఇంపాక్ట్. అండ్ ఈ 100 డేస్లో నేను స్విట్జర్లాండ్కి వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. వాట్ ఐ లర్న్ట్ ఈస్, అక్కడ నా స్కీ ఇన్స్ట్రక్టర్ ఒక హంగేరియన్. సో తనతో కూడా ఎట్ దట్ టైమ్ వెన్ ఐ వాజ్ ఇన్ స్విట్జర్లాండ్. అండ్ తనకి నేను ఎక్కువ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసే అవసరమే పడలేదు. తనకి ఇమ్మీడియట్గా హీ కుడ్ కనెక్ట్ టు వాట్ ఐ వాజ్ సేయింగ్. ఈ అమ్మాయి ఇండియా నుండి వచ్చింది, ఏదో గురు గురించి మాట్లాడుతుంది, అలా కాకుండా సాయిల్ గురించి మాట్లాడగానే దే వాజ్ అన్ ఇమ్మీడియట్ కనెక్ట్. దెన్ ఐ థాట్ సాయిల్ డజంట్ know boundaries. It can connect people across the world because we're all from the soil, we eat out of the soil. It doesn't know any discrimination when it comes to cultural boundaries or nationalities whatsoever. And I made him sing the Save Soil song, and he danced to it also. It was so cute. I think it's still somewhere on my Instagram. So he sang that la la le 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 le, and we all danced in the icy mountains of Alps. So ila veelainanta varaku whatever we could do, we did. But the biggest takeaway from this moment for me is Sadhguru ignited people. And I felt like if people come together, not out of fear, but with awareness, we can shift the world in no time. Our ignition was needed for us. And I feel the most profound thing is we connect deeper with people on a common cause than what differentiates us or what divides us. So it is still, it's like so overwhelming when I talk about it. And I'm sure everyone in this room had a role to play. And I'm honored to be present here. Someone asked me, Rojoka, like one of the newspaper, journalist asked me, "Are you excited to be here?" I said, "No, I'm honored to be here. I'm overwhelmed to be here. I'm happy to be a part of this massive movement which moved people across the globe." Namaskaram.
Andariki namaskaram. Thanks, Radhe, for bringing out this book. This exactly looks like mystic musics, save soil musings, I think we can call it now. ఆశ్రమంకి వెళ్ళిన ప్రతిసారి కూడా ఐ థింక్ సేవ్ సాయిల్ అయిన మూమెంట్ ఒక 2-3 సంవత్సరాల వరకు కూడా ఇదే డిస్కషన్ ఉండేది. వెదర్ ఐఎమ్ మీటింగ్ సమ్మన్ ఇన్ సౌండ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఈషా, ఎనీ అదర్ meditators or volunteers, whoever participated in the movement, సద్గురుతో ట్రావెల్ చేసిన ఎవరితో కలిసినా కూడా వాళ్ళకి చెప్పడానికి 100 ఉండేవి. సో వీ యూస్ టు పుట్ సో మెనీ క్వశ్చన్స్, బాదర్ దెమ్ అ లాట్. I think now this will do the job of answering all their questions. More than being a part of the movement, we are, I think, I can't call it as being part of it. Like, లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఇక్కడ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు చాలామంది కూడా సేవ్ సెల్ మూమెంట్లో చాలా కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేశారు వెన్ సద్గురు వాస్ హియర్ ఇన్ హైదరాబాద్. బట్ వీ విట్నెస్డ్ వన్ బిగ్ ఫినామినా. మానవాళి మొత్తానికి ఒక ఫండమెంటల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ మట్టి, దాని గురించి మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు ఇన్నాళ్ళు ఎవరు లేరు. సో సద్గురు ఒక యజ్ఞంలాగే చేశారు దీన్ని. సో వి వర్ ఫార్చునేట్ ఎనఫ్ టు సీ this phenomena. I think this would never happen for such fundamental, మన జీవితానికి ఆధారమైన మట్టిని కాపాడుకోవడం అనేది ఎవరు అసలు ఇన్నాళ్ళు మనం అసలు we could never identify the problem, the biggest problem. సో సద్గురు ఎప్పుడైతే సేవ్ సాయిల్ గురించి ఒక మూమెంట్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నారని చెప్పినప్పుడు మన అలాంటి వాళ్ళు ఏమనుకుంటా అంటే ఏముంది 2-3 పోస్టులు పెడదాం సరిపోద్ది అనుకున్నాం. కానీ but I think I still didn't move until Sadhguru finished at least 20-30 days ఆయన జర్నీ చూసే వరకు కూడా నాలో పెద్దగా మార్పు అనిపించలే. I put out a post saying that let us support Sadhguru in Save Soil movement and let us all do whatever possible in our own ways. కానీ ఆయన 20 రోజులు 30 రోజులు అంత హార్డ్షిప్లో ఆయన అలా జర్నీ చేస్తూ ఉంటే అప్పుడు సిగ్గేసింది. ఏంటిది, మనం ఈయన ఇంత కష్టపడుతున్నారో మనం ఏం చేయట్లేదు అసలు. నేను అప్పుడప్పుడు బైక్ వేసుకుని వెళ్తూ ఉంటాను సోలో ట్రిప్స్ చేసినప్పుడు ఒక 200-300 కిలోమీటర్లు నడిపితే ఇంటికి వచ్చి వారం రోజులు చెప్తా అందరికీ. సో నవ్ ఐ అండర్స్టూడ్ వాట్ హీఈస్ గోయింగ్ త్రూ. సో నేను ఇదేదో కంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేద్దామని కాదు, కానీ ఆయన చేసేదానికి మనం ఏం చేయలేకపోతున్నామని ఒక చిన్న సిగ్గుతో పాట రాద్దామనే ప్రయత్నం చేశాను. రాసేటప్పుడు నాకు అర్థమైంది, అంటే నాకు నిజంగా ఏం తెలీదు. పుట్టింది రైతు కుటుంబం అయినా వ్యవసాయం చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి మా నాన్న ఏ పనులు పెట్టినా నేను అన్ని పనులు పొలంలో చేసిన ప్రతి పనులను పాల్గొన్నా కూడా యానిమల్స్కి లైఫ్ ఉంటుంది అనుకుంటాం, లేదా మొక్కల్లో జీవం ఉంటుంది అనుకుంటాం, కానీ మట్టికి జీవం ఉంటుంది అనుకున్న విషయం ఇట్ నెవర్ కేమ్ టు మీ. సో పాట రాయాలంటే రాముడి మీద రాయమంటే రాస్తాం, ప్రేమ గురించి రాయమంటే రాస్తాం, మట్టి గురించి ఏం రాస్తాం, నాకేం తట్టలేదు. సో ఈ రాసే ప్రయత్నంలో ఐ హ్యాడ్ టు డూ లాట్ ఆఫ్ రీసెర్చ్. వాట్ ఈజ్ సాయిల్ హెల్త్, మైక్రో ఆర్గానిజం ఏంటి, అండ్ హౌ దీస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ రిలేటెడ్. అండ్ ఇవన్నీ కలిపి మనకి ఏ జీవి పుట్టాలన్నా మట్టిలోంచే కదా. సో ఈ ప్రాసెస్లో నేను చాలా తెలుసుకున్నా. రైతుగా ఉంటూ కూడా తెలుసుకోలేని, రైతు బిడ్డగా ఉంటూ కూడా తెలుసుకోలేని చాలా విషయాలు సద్గురు ఈ పాట రాయించిన సందర్భంలో నేను చాలా రీసెర్చ్ చేసి అర్థం చేసుకునే ప్రయత్నం చేశాను. సో ఐ థింక్ చాలామందికి, నాకు ఒక్కడికే కాదు ఈ అనుభవం, మట్టి గురించి ఇన్నాళ్ళు ఎవరు ఆలోచించుండకపోయాడు, ఆలోచించురండి అని అనుకుంటున్నా. ఈయన ఈ విషయం పైకి తీసుకొచ్చే వరకు. సో we could only say thanks to him for being the pioneer, or just to be the first one to just raise this fundamental thing that or else మనం ఒక 40-50 ఏళ్ళ కన్నా ఇంకా బతికేలా ఉన్న ఒక విషయం మనం ఎప్పుడు అర్థం చేసుకుంటామో తెలియదు. బట్ ఐఎమ్ సో హ్యాపీ దట్ there are so many things, the whole world is moved and supported him in such big way. And now that there is so much work going in the background, and we have this beautiful book, and thanks to Radhe once again.
Yeah, because I don't know.
చాలాసార్లు పాడాను కానీ అర్థమయ్యేలాగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయాల్సిన సందర్భం నాకు ఎప్పుడు కలగలేదు. నౌ దట్ you all, or we're all on this same line, so I can just talk a little bit and then sing this song. నిలువెల్ల పురుడోసుకుని నేలమ్మ. మాతృత్వం గురించి అర్థమైన వాళ్ళకి ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఈ మాట తెలుస్తుంది. మదర్ ఎర్త్. నిలువెల్ల పురుడోసుకుని నేలమ్మ పసిరి పైరులు గన్నది, చెట్టు సేమల పుట్టలతో జీవుల మనుగడకు అనువైనది. పురుగు పుట్ర తిరుగాడి సారం మట్టికి తోడైనది, పశుల పక్షుల తోడుగా జీవం నేలపై పారాడింది. వట్టి మట్టేగా అంటావేమో, మనుగడ పుట్టేది గిట్టేది మట్టిలోనే కదరా. ఎనీవన్ హ్యాస్ డౌట్, మనం పుట్టేది గిట్టేది పుట్టాల్సింది పోవాల్సింది దానిలోకి కదా. మట్టేరా పుట్టుకకు ఆధారం, మోసేది నీ భారం, అన్నమయ్య ఆకలి తీర్చే మమకారం. మట్టేరా ప్రాణమున్న బంగారం, జీవకోటికి గర్భం, వటిపోనీయకు నేలను తీర్చుకొరుడు. మట్టేరా పుట్టుకకు ఆధారం, మోసేది నీ భారం, అన్నమయ్య ఆకలి తీర్చే మమకారం. మట్టేరా ప్రాణమున్న బంగారం, జీవకోటికి గర్భం, వట్టిపోనీయకు నేలను తీర్చుకొరుడు. నిలువెల్ల పొరుడోసుకుని నేలమ్మ పసిరి పైరులు గన్నది, చెట్టు సేమల పుట్టలతో మనుషుల మనుగడకు అనువైనది. నెక్స్ట్ ఫ్యూ లైన్స్. పెద్దోళ్ళు మాట చెప్పారు, దేశం అంటే మట్టేనని. మరి మట్టి లేకపోతే మనుషులు ఎక్కడ? దేశం అంటే మట్టేనోయ్, మట్టి లేకుంటే మనిషి ఎక్కడో. సారం లేని మట్టిలో నువ్వు సాగట్లా సాగిస్తావో. సాగుంటేనే సౌభాగ్యం, లేకుంటే నిలువలేదు ఏ రాజ్యం. దేశం సుభిక్షంగా ఉండాలంటే మట్టి మనగలగాలి. మట్టి ప్రాణంతో ఉన్నప్పుడే దేశం సుభిక్షంగా ఉంటుంది. పంటలు పండితేనే వాళ్ళు తినగలుగుతారు, తిన్నప్పుడు ఏ గొడవ లేకుండా ఆనందంగా ఉండగలుగుతారు. సాగుంటేనే సౌభాగ్యం, లేకుంటే నిలువలేదు ఏ రాజ్యం. తిండి బట్ట నీడకి నిండు మట్టేరా మూలాధారం, వట్టి మట్టేగా అంటావేమో, మనుగడ పుట్టేది గిట్టేది మట్టిలోనే గలరా. మట్టేరా పుట్టుకకు ఆధారం, మోసేది నీ భారం, అన్నమయ్య ఆకలి తీర్చే మమకారం. మట్టేరా ప్రాణమున్న బంగారం, జీవకోటికి గర్భం, వట్టిపోనీయకు నేలను తీర్చుకొరుడు. మట్టేరా పుట్టుకకు ఆధారం, మోసేది నీ భారం, అన్నమయ్య ఆకలి తీర్చే మమకారం. మట్టేరా ప్రాణమున్న బంగారం, జీవకోటికి గర్భం, వట్టిపోనీయకు నేలను తీర్చుకొరుడు.
జే పోటుగాడు, ఐ వర్క్ ఫర్ రేడియో సిటీ అండి. నమస్కారం. సద్గురు గారి శిష్యుణ్ణి. ఎంత మాట్లాడినా తక్కువే, ఆ పుస్తకం అంత సైజులో ఉన్నా తక్కువే, అది నాకు అనిపిస్తుంది. అయితే ఇప్పుడు దాకా ఏం చేశామో సద్గురు గారి జర్నీ తర్వాత అది తక్కువే. మనం అని సిటీలో ఉన్న మనం మాట్లాడినా, సోషల్ మీడియాలో ఎంత పుష్ చేసినా, మనం చేరుకోవాల్సింది రోజు మట్టితో మాట్లాడే మనిషిని, రైతుని. మనం కొనే పదార్థాలు ఆర్ స్టెప్స్ ఫార్వర్డ్.
See, the important thing to know about the Save Soil policy particularly is that it is not about what individuals can do, particularly from an urban situation. It's important, one, to keep the conversation going, and every time that you're in a position where you are able to influence people, it's important to talk about it for various reasons. One is it has to come from top down as well as from the ground up. So now if we look at government policy regarding Save Soil, unless it's implemented in such a way that for the next 30-40 years there is active change in the way agriculture is done, it's not going to have the impact that we want it to have. If we spend the next 40-50 years changing our agricultural methods in a way that is financially viable for the farmer, then it is possible to turn this around. If we wait for another even 20-25 years before we start making this change, it will take more than 200 years to turn it around. So right now, in the next 10-15 years, it's important that our farmers are empowered to make the changes that they can make. Few changes that have happened, for example, is up until recently, if a farmer grew a tree on his land, the tree did not belong to him. It became part of forest. Now, why will any farmer invest a certain amount of land, invest a certain amount of his money into something that is not going to be financially viable for him? So that has changed now. If a farmer grows a land, it's a financial investment. So, and this has always been there traditionally, that if you had a girl child, you planted 3 trees. So by the time she was 18, you could cut the tree and it gave you a certain amount of financial ability, either for her education or for her marriage or for her first child. And Sadhguru says boys break a lot more things. So for boys, you do 5 trees because you have to lots more expense for the boy. But the idea is that when you have children, you plant, every farming community, every farmer used to plant a certain number of trees, so that by the time their children were of a certain age, it was an investment. So weddings, this, that, everything was sponsored by what that tree had to offer. Unless we allow them to do this, unless we make it financially viable. So we talk about tree-based agriculture. So this is from top down. Policies must change. Policies must support how agriculture can change. So subsidies must be given for tree-based agriculture. What kind of tree must be based on which area you are growing your farm in. And people like to think that tree means forest. Go and plant some forests in the trees. Go and plant some trees in the forest, trees in the forest. The forests have enough trees. If you just take your hands off the forest will be fine. You stop interfering with it, the forest will do wonderfully well. But 70% of India's land is in the hands of farmers. So it is that land that we are trying to impact through a financial plan that has ecological impact. So top-down policies must be aligned in such a way that if a farmer chooses to grow a tree, or if he chooses to bring organic content into the soil in whatever way is possible for him, there are only 2 ways to bring organic content into the soil. Either it is tree waste or it is animal waste. There is no other organic content on this planet that you can bring magically from anywhere else. But we don't have animals on farms anymore, and we don't have trees on farms anymore. So where is this organic content going to come from? Every time you plant a crop, you are taking a certain amount of organic content out of the soil, but you're not putting anything back in. Something by virtue of being born in a rich land like India, we have been able to feed our population. But organic content, for soil to be considered soil, you must have minimum of 3% or 3 to 6% organic content. We have less than 1% organic content across the country in all agricultural soils. Some places it's 0.9%, some places it's 0.3%, which means by official categorization, it is sand. This is what UNCCD is talking about. Desertification doesn't mean one day suddenly it will be desert. It is just over the next 20 years, you cannot grow any more plants because there is no organic content in it. Nothing is going back into it. It will naturally turn into sand. But you and I will not feel that. When our children are not able to eat, when our children have to fight for one morsel of food, then they will turn around and say, what did you all do with this world? What have you done and what have you handed over to us? So top-down policies must change in such a way that when farmers make the change, it is in line with what they are able to do and what they are willing to do and what they can do. And then again from bottom up, so Kaveri Calling is a sample project. We say it's a sample project, but it's a massive project. The intention is that we will look at, so the nurseries that we have, we look at what kind of trees are grown in that region and we create saplings based on that. And then we educate them on what are economically viable methods to do farming. So how much of your land must be under shade? How much of your land must be under tree cover? What do you do in the summer months when you're not growing a crop? What can you grow and put it back into the soil? When we talk about fertilizers and pesticides, people think, oh, just stop all fertilizers, stop all pesticides. You tell me, can we feed our population without any fertilizer or pesticide? It's simply not possible. It's inhumane to ask a farmer who's barely able to feed his family to take on an environmental issue and solve it themselves. So the natural solution is if you put enough organic content back into the soil, naturally your need for fertilizer and pesticide will slowly go down over a period of time. But if there is no organic content in the soil, how is he supposed to give you food without fertilizer? It just doesn't make sense to ask that of them. So policies also must be in line with that, plus education of the farmer to go back to certain kinds of farming practices based on the region in which he is a farmer. And this doesn't only help with soil rejuvenation, water retention in this country is an issue. One day we have flood, next day we have drought. Next day we have flood, next day we have drought. People think these are two separate problems. These are not separate problems, except for the Gangetic Plain where we have ice-based water flow. Everywhere else in this country, only that monsoon rain is our source of water for the rest of the year. Every time it rains, because there's not enough organic content, there's not enough tree roots, there's not enough material in the soil to hold the water, it just rushes through and you get a flood. All that water that should have soaked into the earth and stayed there and given us water and perennial rivers for the rest of the year, by the time summer comes, there's no water in it, which means you have droughts. So people think these are two separate problems. It's the same fundamental problem. You must raise the organic content of the soil from whatever it is right now to a minimum of 3 to 6%. This has economic benefits, this has environmental benefits, this has nourishment benefits, because what you and I eat today is not the same as what our grandparents used to eat. We need to eat that much more food to get the same amount of nutrition. One example that we kept using during Save Soil is that if you ate a California orange in 1920, you got to eat 8 California oranges to get the same level of nutrition. Can you eat 8 oranges on a daily basis to get that? It just simply doesn't make sense. So it's a question of improving the quality of our food. It's a question of improving the financial situation of the farmer. It's a question of improving the soil quality, improving the state of rivers in this country. It is a multifaceted solution, but all of it comes from raising organic content in the soil. So what everyday people can do is make sure that the message does not stop, because we are a democracy. Where you place your vote is extremely important. How you influence your local MP, MLA, your state government, your central government, it must be in line with this. If enough people raise their voice, they will have no choice but to make it the national policy. And when we had the event with the Prime Minister as part of Save Soil, part of what we had done was all the letters that children had written. We put them up on boards, and there was just simply not enough space. So we had stacks and stacks of letters on the corridor. So when the Prime Minister came for the event, he had no choice but to see how many children were asking for change. Nobody cannot be moved by that. So your commitment as an individual is not, okay, today I said save soil and that's it. Every day, if you think about it, every day if you talk about it to one person, the person you meet on the bus, your auto driver, your cab driver, your taxi driver, he will speak to one more person, he will speak to one more person, and then it becomes something that each individual can make a change about. Yes, of course, if you're doing organic farming in your balcony garden, I have great respect for that. But that is not going to bring fundamental change to the country. If that means you have more education, if your balcony garden is helping you understand the situation better, if it's giving you the possibility to explain to people in a more clear and concise manner, it's extremely important that you do it. But 70% of India's land is in the hands of the farmer. We must support them and help them in every possible way to make this change. And it must happen in the next 20-25 years. Because if we wait beyond that, it's just going to take 200 years to reverse it. And who knows if we'll be successful at that time.
బాగుంటుందని.
So definitely having animals on the farm is a big thing. People also tend to think that animals on the farm, it's about being a source of milk or it's being a source of that. Actually, it is the cow dung and the urine which is the most precious part of what you can get from a cow. Because what that does for soil nourishment, there is simply no replacement. There are many traditional methods of how to transform just cow dung and urine into being an extremely powerful fertilizer. We have a method of teaching this as part of Kaveri calling. We teach farmers how to make Jivamritam on their farmland. So it's not something they have to buy. It's something they can create for themselves as long as they have some bovine animals on their land. It is also a source of nutrition for their immediate family, whether it's milk or whatever. And many people are growing chicken and duck because the waste from the duck is far more fertilizing, is far more powerful fertilizer than many things that you get on the market. So it's a question of educating them on how to use it and how to make their farms significantly more profitable for them. And the byproduct of that is that it becomes more organic.
వాళ్ళు చేస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళందరికీ తెలుసు ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్. అది చెయ్యాలి, అంత చేశాక వాళ్ళ చేతికి వచ్చే వరకు కూడా ఫార్మర్స్ భయపడతారు. సో అందుకే దాని సైడ్ వెళ్ళడానికి చాలామంది భయపడుతున్నారు. బట్ ఫార్మర్స్ హూ ఎవర్ వాంట్ టు ట్రై, హూ వాంట్ టు పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ సేవ్ సాయిల్ కాన్సెప్ట్ వాళ్ళకి ఎలా హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది, హూ ఎవర్ వాంట్ టు బి అ పార్ట్ ఇన్ ఫ్యూచర్ గ్రోత్, సేవ్ సాయిల్ వాళ్ళకి ఎలా హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది.
Part of this, we have multiple FPOs, farmer producer organizations, and we work with many thousands of farmers. We have a lot of education camps that happen. We have a model farm in Coimbatore near the ashram where anybody can come, spend time, learn how to change the quality of their soil, learn how to change their farming methodology. We have nurseries across Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. We were also working a little bit with the Maharashtra government and we had set up a few nurseries there. So anybody who wants to come and learn, we are happy to teach. Please come, spend some time with us. We will help you, we will support you, we will make sure that there is a local support for you wherever you are from, so that this process of changing is not a painful process, because it does require a certain amount of investment for the first couple of years. So we'll ensure that there is some support for you in wherever you are from, and please come and learn everything that we have to teach. Or if you have a group of people that you can put together, we are happy to come there and teach you how it's done. We have many resources that we are happy to make available. We're working very closely with the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. So anybody who wants to make the change, we are happy to come and teach you, or you're most welcome to come to where we are and look at the changes that we have made and learn from the practices that we have done. Both ways it can be done.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
మీ క్యాంపెయిన్లో మీరు ఫార్మర్స్తో ఇంటరాక్ట్ అయినప్పుడు హౌ వాస్ ద రెస్పాన్స్? because I was from a agriculture family. So పేరెంట్స్కి ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే దే డోంట్ నో దట్ లైక్ ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్ అంటే తెలియదు, బయో దే డోంట్ నో. సో మనకి పెస్టిసైడ్స్ వాడితేనే పంట ఎక్కువ వస్తుంది, మనకి పంట గిట్టుబాటు అవుతుంది అనేది ఒక ఆలోచన ఉంటుంది. See, save soil. Do you really think that this book can change the mindset of the farmers and the people? See, ఎందుకు depending?
No, no,
The
no.
mostly depending on farmers.
Are you indirectly dependent on your food, sir?
Yes.
Indirectly? Did
See,
you eat the food or somebody else
Yeah,
ate the
ma'am.
food
See,
and you
we are
got
almost
that?
80 to 100 members in this hall. See, did any one of these do farming? They are really grown up for like.
No, no, sir. I'm not questioning where you're coming from. I'm
Yeah.
asking you the fact that you think you're only indirectly related to the soil
Yeah.
is the problem. If you eat, then you are directly connected to the soil. It is as much your concern as it is the farmer's concern.
Yeah.
This book is about people's experience of the Save Soil journey.
Okay.
But the work we do on the ground is directly with farmers, and farmers' incomes have gone up anywhere from 300 to 800%. We have been working with them on the ground for the last 30 plus years.
Okay.
So this is movement is about ensuring government policy happens on a worldwide platform. But actual activity and working with farmers we have been doing for 30 plus years. You must come and visit our farm, visit our farmers in the FPO, and if you have anybody who would like to do it, we are very happy to work with them also.
See, the only thing నేను ఇప్పుడు మైక్ పట్టుకునే కానీ రీజన్ ఏంటంటే, see, what are the subject we are discussing? Most of the farmers don't know the subject. They only need their profits. So they are going on pesticides. See, ఒక పెస్టిసైడ్స్ కంపెనీ, let me complete please. ఒక పెస్టిసైడ్స్ కంపెనీ ఉంటే దే వాంట్ టు ప్రమోట్ దర్ పెస్టిసైడ్, దే కమ్ టు ద ఫీల్డ్, దే విల్ షో దట్ సో హౌ ఇట్ వర్క్స్ అనేది చెప్పి వాళ్ళు దాన్ని ప్రమోట్ చేస్తున్నారు. అండ్ వై కాంట్ వి, ఈవెన్ ఐ డోంట్ నో దట్ maybe you in the campaign you got participated. Ma'am, I was a degree final year student. I didn't have any idea regarding this, but my question is that why can't we go to the direct to the farmer and we can teach like practically? So many of the farmers they
Sir,
don't know the
that's
subject.
what I'm telling you. We are working on the ground with the farmers in multiple states, in multiple districts. This book is about the people who went on the journey and what they experienced. But active work under the Save Soil banner is happening on a daily basis, not just today, but for the last 30 years we have been working and educating and working with them because we also live along with the farmers.
Yeah.
But in your mind, I want you to change this idea that I am indirectly connected to the soil. If you wake up in the morning and eat, I want you to know that your body is directly connected to the soil.
Madam, and see what my question is that, like directly అలా అని చెప్పలేదు, but like we are not the farmers and we are not growing our crop what we eat now. Only the farmers do the thing. I was like,
Yes, sir, we are working with them also.
yeah,
Brother,
that's what I am telling. Okay.
నేను ఒక విషయం చెప్తా తమ్ముడు. నేను కూడా, మా నాన్న కూడా రైతే. ఎంత నాటుకుపోయిందంటే వాళ్ళకి నిజంగా ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఇది ఇది సమస్య అనే విషయం ఎప్పుడు తెలియదు.
అవును.
పంట మార్చాలా,
అవును, క్రాప్ రొటేషన్.
ఒక 2 సంవత్సరాలు ఒక పంట వేస్తే 3వ సంవత్సరం ఇంకో పంట మారిస్తే సారం పెరుగుతుంది.
అవును.
వరి వేసామనుకో మినువులో పెసలు వేయాలి, అప్పుడు కొంచెం న్యూట్రిషన్స్ కావాల్సినవి దొరుకుతాయి దానికి. మా నాన్న చేత పంట మార్పించలేకపోయాను నేను. ఇదంతా తెలిసి ఇంత పాట రాసిందని చెప్తున్నా కదా, బీయింగ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. ఎందుకంటే ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఈజీ. దర్ ఇస్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్ అండ్ వీ ఆల్ హ్యావ్ టు కంటిన్యూస్లీ వర్క్ ఆన్ ఇట్. ఓన్లీ దెన్ ద చేంజ్ విల్ కమ్. ఫెర్టిలైజర్స్ వాడు వచ్చి వాడి గురించి వాడి ప్రాఫిట్స్ గురించి ప్రమోట్ చేసినంత ఈజీగా మనం వెళ్ళి చెప్పలేము ఇది. ఎందుకంటే ఫార్మర్కి డైరెక్ట్లీ హీ కాంట్ సీ మనీ ఇన్ ఇట్. వీ నీడ్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ దెమ్, వాళ్ళకి అర్థమయ్యేలాగా చెప్పి తీసుకొచ్చి చాలా ప్రయత్నం చేస్తే తప్ప మార్పు అంత ఈజీగా రాదు. బట్ దట్ ఈస్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్. రాధే చెప్పినట్టు దెర్ ఆర్ మోడల్ ఫార్మ్ ల్యాండ్స్ in around Coimbatore and so many places in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, sir.
It is practically the రైతులందరూ కూడా ప్రాఫిట్స్ కళ్ళ చూస్తున్నారు వాళ్ళు. సో మిగతా రైతులు అవన్నీ చూసినప్పుడు మెల్లమెల్లగా అర్థం చేసుకుని ఈ లైన్లోకి వస్తారని నేను అనుకుంటున్నా.
See, అంటే like I was not
లేదు, నువ్వు చెప్పింది నాకు అర్థమైంది. బట్ రాధే వాజ్ సేయింగ్ దిస్ బుక్ ఈస్ నాట్ అబౌట్ చేంజింగ్ పీపుల్స్ మైండ్ రైట్ నౌ. దిస్ ఇస్ టు ఇన్స్పైర్ పీపుల్ వాట్ హ్యాస్ గాన్ త్రూ ఇన్ బ్రింగింగ్ దిస్ చేంజ్.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
So Kaveri calling, this is very much part of that. We travel from village to village and we educate farmers. We were talking to them one person, three people, 20 people. Once impact happened on a few farms, then they themselves would collect farmers and put them together and say, I will get 100 farmers, can you come and teach us? So they are the people that we are involved with are very much part of the process. They are ideas of farming have changed, their farming practices have changed, their income levels have gone up from 300 to 800%. So only if it works for somebody will somebody else say, okay, it works for them, so let me also try it. So this is part of what Kaveri Calling is. Kaveri Calling is an on-ground example of what the safe soil policy can do on large scale. Thank you everybody for being with us this evening. I think we have some wonderful music coming up with Ramanna, and then we'll all meet you for dinner. Thank you.
కంపైల్ చేసిందో ఈ బుక్లో అన్ని స్టోరీస్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ బిహైండ్ దిస్ మూమెంట్. అంటే ఒక ఈ ఈ మూమెంట్ స్టార్ట్ అయినప్పటి నుండి మనం చూసింది కొంతవరకే, మనకి తెలియని స్టోరీస్ ఎలాంటి వారైతే ఈ మూమెంట్కి తోడ్పడ్డారో, కమిట్మెంట్ చూపించారో, సింపుల్ కామన్ పీపుల్ స్టోరీస్. ఒక్కొక్క కంట్రీలో సద్గురు ఎక్కడికైతే వెళ్ళారో వాళ్ళు ఛాలెంజెస్ ఫేస్ చేసినప్పుడు సద్గురు అంటే ఎవరో తెలియని వాళ్ళు కూడా ఛాలెంజింగ్ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ని, ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ని సాల్వ్ చేయడానికి హెల్ప్ చేయడం జరిగిందో. అండ్ ఎలాగైతే లండన్ నుండి కావేరీ బేసిన్ వరకు తను 30,000 కిలోమీటర్స్ రైడ్ చేసినప్పుడు ప్రతి కంట్రీలో 27 కంట్రీస్ టచ్ అయినప్పుడు ప్రతి కంట్రీలో తనకు వచ్చిన రెస్పాన్స్ అండ్ ఎలాగైతే పీపుల్ స్పందించారు, వాళ్ళ హెల్ప్ ఎలా చేశారు, మనకి వినలేనివి అండ్ మనం వాటి గురించి మాట్లాడని స్టోరీస్ అన్నీ దీంట్లో కంపైల్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఇది ఎందుకు చేశారంటే దిస్ ఈజ్ అ పీపుల్స్ మూమెంట్. సద్గురు స్టార్ట్ చేసి ఉండవచ్చు, కానీ తను ఒకలాంటి స్ఫూర్తిని ఇవ్వడంతో మట్టి మనందరికీ ఒకటే కాబట్టి మనమందరం ఏ కంట్రీలో ఉన్నా మట్టి నుండే మన ఫుడ్ వస్తుంది. 95% ఆఫ్ అవర్ ఫుడ్ కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ద సాయిల్. మీరు అమెరికన్ అయినా, జర్మన్ అయినా, ఇండియన్ అయినా, ఇట్స్ ద సేమ్. సో మట్టి అనేది ఒక మానవత్వాన్ని ఒకలాంటి కనెక్ట్ ఇచ్చింది. బికాజ్ మట్టికి ఇది ఇండియా మట్టి, ఇది అమెరికన్ మట్టి అని తెలీదు. సో మట్టి మిమ్మల్ని నన్ను ఒకటేలాగా నరిష్ చేస్తుంది. సో ఆ భావనతోని ప్రతి ఒక్కరు స్పందించడం, వాళ్ళు ఏ రకంగా వాళ్ళ హెల్ప్ చేయగలరో చేయడం జరిగింది. సో అలాంటి అన్సంగ్ హీరోస్ గురించి వాళ్ళ స్టోరీస్ ఎంతో స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే స్టోరీస్.
అండ్ మోరల్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టోరీ అంటే మీరేం నేర్చుకున్నారు ఆఫ్టర్ లిసనింగ్ టు దీస్ స్టోరీస్?
ఈ బుక్ నాకు ఇప్పుడే ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఫస్ట్ కాపీ దట్ కేమ్ టుడే అండ్ ఐఎమ్ వెరీ ఫార్చునేట్ బికాజ్ నాకు తెలిసిన స్టోరీస్ కొన్ని, తెలియని స్టోరీస్ ఎన్నో. సో రాధే కూడా ఇప్పుడు మన ప్యానెల్ డిస్కషన్లో ఒక 2-3 స్టోరీస్ షేర్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఆ స్టోరీస్ విన్నప్పుడు అంటే తెలియని వాళ్ళు ఆ టైంకి కరెక్ట్గా వచ్చి హెల్ప్ చేయడం, వాళ్ళకి సహాయం అయినంత అనుకున్నంత సాయం చేయడం ఈజ్ ఇన్క్రెడిబుల్. సో ఇదొక మూమెంట్ మనుషులందరినీ కలిపింది కాబట్టి ఇట్స్ అ కామన్ పీపుల్ స్టోరీ విచ్ ఆర్ ఇన్స్పైరింగ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
So this journey may have started in 2022 and Sadhguru did the journey in 2022, but it's something that all of us must still be involved in. It's something that we must all keep alive in our daily life. It's something we must talk about. It's something we must educate everybody about. The book is about our experience so that you are also inspired by this experience and that you are able to bring safe soil to wherever you are from and make it a part of your life and make it a part of the lives of the people around you. So this book is available on Amazon. You can pre-order it and then it will be delivered to your home. I hope all of you become a part of the safe soil journey. Namaskaram.
Ma'am, what are the challenges you faced during the campaign?
మంచి challenges లేవు.
మేడం చెప్తే అర్థమవుతుందా?
పర్వాలేదు. It's okay.
What is the one experience that you would like to highlight from the book?
Oh, I wish there was just one experience. There are so many different people's experiences. For me as a Bharatanatyam dancer, to be able to make a piece about soil and do that, and then also to have the Project Samskriti dancers do their own piece about soil, it was a method for us to bring the information the same way that Ram Miryala and Shilpa Garu have all sung songs. There are various ways in which you can connect people to soil. I hope that all of you also take this responsibility on and make sure that people are aware of the safe soil policy and the impact it can have for future generations.
Madam,